Hey guys, Katie here. How's it going? Today I want to do a little bit of a wrap up. I haven't done one since November, and I've actually been reading a lot of books. The first two books I'm going to mention, I think I've mentioned before. I talked about one of them a lot because I took forever to read it. One of them was Buffering by Hannah Hart, and the other one was Jam on the Vine by LASHONDA KATRICE BARNETT. I read Buffering in December. I really like Hannah Hart. I just appreciate her as a person and as somebody who's on YouTube who doesn't feel like a total fake to me. And I was really excited to read her book because I knew that she's been through a lot in her life and she deals a lot with mental illness, so I thought that it would be something that I would like. And I did enjoy it. I didn't think it was amazing, but I hope that she'll continue to write. I loved reading the really honest parts about her struggles with coming to terms with her sexuality and her mother's mental illness. I think those were the parts that were really strong. So I hope that she keeps writing. I'm sure she will. I would love to read something else by her. I really just like her a lot. For Jam on the Vine, I filmed a book review for that should be up. It should already be up, but it's not. But Jam on the Vine was a really great book. It's about a young black woman in the early 1900s who wants to write for and start her own newspaper. And later on, it really talks a lot about the mass incarceration of black men and the different riots and things that happened and injustices committed against black people in those years in the beginning of the 1900s. Another thing about Jam on the Vine that I didn't realize going into it is that the main character is a lesbian. I think I said it before, but I've never read a book from the perspective of a black woman in that time period. And in particular, I've never read a book about a black lesbian in that time period. Check out my review when it's up because I highly recommend Jam on the Vine. The next book that I read, I talked a lot about. It is The Burning World by ISABEL, the sequel to Warm Bodies, which was also a movie. And I've talked about this at length, so I'm not going to go into any detail. I just hope that you are considering it because I think that it's a really amazing book, and ISABEL is a wonderful writer, and I just think it deserves to be read. So it's the second book in a series of 3, and the third book is hopefully coming out at the end of the year. It's called The Living, I think. So be on the lookout for that. And if you're not going to read it now, maybe consider reading it then, and then you can read the whole thing. So in February, I was attempting to read some books for Black History Month, and I only finished one, but I have 2 more that I'm working on. So the one that I finished was Citizen, an American Lyric by CLAUDIA RANKINE. And I didn't even know what it was. I just heard about it so much, and it was so impactful and so beautiful and sad. The beginning is kind of in the form of poems about microaggressions that Black people have to deal with on a daily basis, and then there is a chapter that's all about Serena Williams and how she deals with racism, not just in America, but internationally, and how people treat her differently because of her race. There's so much more that she covers, so many stories about people who deserve to have their stories told, and it was, like I said, beautiful and kind of eye-opening despite already kind of having an understanding of microaggressions and racism. But it can't hurt to learn more and to read more, and I think that I definitely see why I heard about it so much. It's definitely an important book. The next book that I read was Bleaker by NELL Stevens, and I'm putting out a review for that this week with my review of Brothers Ruin by NEWMAN, so be sure to check that out. It's sort of a memoir about NELL Stevens' experience of going to this isolated island in the Falklands and trying to write a book and failing. So it's kind of beautiful because it's about failure, and it's also about writing. I enjoyed it, but I didn't absolutely love it. But I do really like her writing. I think her writing, especially the descriptions of nature and the memoir pieces, were really, really good. So I'm looking forward to see what else she writes. After that, I read Brothers Ruin by NEWMAN, and I really loved Brothers Ruin. It wasn't perfect, and it was a lot of setup. It's a novella, so it's kind of hard to say, no, I don't have time for that, because I read it in like 2 sittings. Only 2 because the first time I didn't have time to read. It's really great. Like I said, I'm putting out a review for that this week, so check it out. And I also have been trying to do reviews on Goodreads, and I'm hoping to start adding them to my blog soon. So you can check out my review on Goodreads if you're interested now, or you can wait until our review comes out, hopefully later this week. And then finally, the last book that I finished was the Book of the Unnamed Midwife by Meg Ellison. It's a post-apocalyptic story about a nurse midwife and kind of her journey from when this flu kind of wipes everybody out and she survives it to when, I guess, her story ends. I don't know how to describe it. I hated the beginning. I loved the rest of it. And so I will say to you, if you're thinking about reading this, read it. And if you struggle in the beginning, just push on through because it's really worth it. It's very dark and sad. It's probably my favorite of all of the post-apocalyptic stories I've read. And I've read quite a few, so that's something. So a couple of books that I'm working on right now, just so you know, I am reading The Warmth of Other Suns by ISABEL Wilkerson. It's very large, and I actually just got it from Overdrive, so I have the physical book, but now I have the ebook. I think it'll be easier to read. And that's really interesting. That's a really interesting book because it's talking about this migration of Black people out of the South, and it spans like this huge chunk of time and nobody talks about it. This is the kind of thing that I'm really interested in, the history that we don't learn in school that we should learn, and I'm really enjoying it. And then I also have The Fire This Time by JESMYN Ward. I heard so much about this when it came out, I think last year, and I haven't really started it yet. I read the foreword, but I only have it for like another week, so I should finish it this week. But those were two of my Black History Month reads. Finally, I just started The Stars Are Legion by KAMERON HURLEY, so I've never read any of her work before. I saw the alternative book cover that said lesbians in space, and I was like, anyway, I started it, and I'm just like, this is incredible. It's incredible. And it reminds me a lot of Ancillary Justice, and I really liked that, so I think it's going to be fantastic, and I'm not surprised about that at all. So anyway, I'll update you guys when I finish those books. It might be a while for The Warmth of Other Suns, but it's definitely a work in progress. I'm getting there. So let me know if you read any of these books or if you're going to read any of them. I would love to talk to you in the comments, and I will see you next time. Bye!